Hey everyone, welcome to the Kristof Lewis podcast, Create Your Career. This is Contemplation with Kristof, number 70, total episodes 183. Of course, I have both the contemplations where it's just me and the conversations where I interview people. Why do I interview people? I interview people because I legitimately want to know why they're doing what they're doing, how they got into what they're doing, and how they're giving back to other people. And then I want to use that as inspiration to inspire you, the listener, and continue to inspire me, honestly, to pursue what you want, like to pursue your passion, to pursue something that gives you purpose, to prove to you that it is possible. Because a lot of my life and my career, I have heard people just give countless excuses that they couldn't do what they wanted to do, excuse after excuse, and just people honestly convincing themselves and the world around them, so more people convincing everybody that it wasn't possible to do all these things, to make good money or to do something that you love or to help people or to do all these things all at the same time. And all of them are important in their own way. For example, money gets a bad rep all the time, but money is something that can be used to help other people, but you can't just be pursuing one of those things. So all those things in conjunction are very powerful. And that's a quick synopsis on why I have this podcast and why I interview other people. And then of course, these contemplations are just me, and I'm sharing things that I've dealt with in my life or that I've talked to other people about and that are important to share with other people, because I don't want to bottle it up and keep it to myself. I want to share that with you. You can find this podcast and all the other contemplations and the conversations, plus a whole lot more information on KristofLewis.com. And you can find me on Instagram at Kristof Lewis. And now it's time for the book challenge. And I'm reading one book a week for a year. Last week, I read Networking is a Contact Sport by Joe Sweeney. I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it. This week, I'm reading Rise, 3 Practical Steps for Advancing Your Career, Standing Out as a Leader, and Liking Your Life by Patty Azzarello, which was a recommendation from somebody I met. So thank you for that. Yesterday's conversation was conversation number 113 with Mr. Max Martini. Max has been in the acting game for over 2 decades. I first saw him in Saving Private Ryan. He's been in The Unit. He has been in Captain Phillips. He's been in Sergeant Will Gardner. Like, the list does not end. He's been in a lot of good movies, good TV shows, and he has a massive impact on the veteran community. His latest movie, Sergeant Will Gardner, is giving back to 3 different nonprofit organizations with a total of 30% of the movie proceeds going to those organizations. So he's doing great things, and Max epitomizes doing what you want, like in pursuit of your purpose in life and enjoying it. So he loves obviously acting, but he also has met some incredible people along the way, and he's giving back to that community as well. So that was a no-brainer to have him on the podcast. So super humbled to have him on there. That was really fun. Check out that one. And today I'm going to speak with you about when we were kids, anything was possible. So let's build a fort and get into it. I thought long and hard about my childhood for this episode, and I honestly can't tell you what I wanted to be when I was a kid. I don't know if that's sad. I don't know if that's bad. I don't know if it's good or it's happy. I don't know about that. I did do a lot of contemplating when I was a kid, but it wasn't very clear. I didn't really know anything. Obviously, I was a kid, but I think since we're all at different points in our lives, at the same point in our lives, like even at the same age, we're all different points in our lives. So as a kid, I just don't think I had any handle on anything at all. I had no idea what I wanted to do, nor should I have. But a lot of kids even knew what they wanted to do, and I never knew. I was one of those kids that I never knew what to do. And if you listen to more than one of these episodes, you've probably heard me say I'm 32 right now as I record this, and even into my 30s, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until I started this podcast did I really find out that regardless of what my day job was, and I do enjoy my day job, regardless of that, I really found out what I liked was building relationships and helping other people. So now I'm able to do that with my current job, and I'm able to do this with this podcast with 183 episodes. I'm able to help people, and I do with the interactions that I have on a daily basis. So maybe when I was a kid, maybe when I was a little older, I wanted to be like a pro snowboarder or a soccer player, because those are things that I absolutely love to do in Colorado, but it wasn't serious at all. And all those things were 100% selfish, unlike how I see my career path now, which I just shared with you about. Even though I do work a day job, I do enjoy it. I get to build relationships. I get to work with other people and help those people, which I do really enjoy. But I've recognized that I can do something on my off time. I can have a hobby that contributes to society and other people's lives in this way as well. So that's what I really enjoy. But again, when I was a kid, I didn't know what I quote unquote wanted to be when I grew up. But what I can tell you is I did think that quite literally anything was possible. I know that there are these obvious limitations to certain things in our lives, but what I've realized more than ever is that the mindset that comes along with the anything is possible mentality is what is really important here. If you have a mindset that is bounded by these limitations, bounded by limitations you shall be. If you have a mindset that is full of imagination and no limitations, then you may not always get what and where you want. What you will sure be in a better place than having never, ever tried at all. So to me, what that means is, once again, mindset is so important. We don't support each other like the support we got from our parents and teachers when we were growing up. Why is it that we're told that we can be anything when we're kids, but as soon as we start to grow up, we're constantly hit with the reality checks from the same exact people saying to quote unquote be realistic? Society's so structured and linear, with education saying that we must go a certain path, you must go to college to be successful. All of these things are things that we hear on a daily basis, and we talk more and more about this linear path and less about this path full of imagination and these limitations that are endless. So why is it that one side of the spectrum ceases to exist and the other side of the spectrum is boundless now? So what I like to do is remind myself that anything is possible. I can be what I want to be. Now, like I said in the beginning, there are obvious limitations. Not anything is possible, literally. Obviously, we have limitations in some sense, but what I want to definitely focus on, what I want to absolutely focus on this episode is the mindset of anything is possible. Obviously, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Now, that was a great quote by Gretzky, and honestly, that was one of my favorite quotes, because so many times in my life, I was in fear, which is another huge thing we've talked about, of trying something. And if you do not try something because you're in fear that you will fail, which is another huge topic. So all these things are consolidated to make this absolute huge ball of yuck that we don't ever want to try because we're so scared. So we're in fear of failing, so we don't ever try. We don't ever take the shot. But if we do take the shot, we may miss a lot. We will eventually get one of those pucks in the back of the net, and you'll do it more often than you think, but you might not always do it how you want, but you have to take the shot. So apply the mindset of anything is possible. Go out there and try it, because you don't know if it's possible unless you try it. And you got to keep on trying it. You can't listen to people and say it's not possible, because so many times in my own life, people thought that it wasn't possible because they themselves could not do it. All along in my military career, everybody told me, you're not going to make it, man. You don't have college. You're a college dropout. You don't have these technical skills. You don't have these certifications. And I proved them wrong multiple times now. And it's not just about proving them wrong, but damn it, it does sure feel good that I didn't go this linear path of what people thought I should do, or what they thought that I should do based on what their reality was. So them being realistic was not realistic for me. This path that they defined for their lives was not the path that I define for my life. I don't know what you wanted to be when you grew up. I don't know what you want to be now. But I sure do know that you don't have to have it figured out now, but you do have to apply the mentality of anything is possible, and do not limit yourself. If you set limitations, if you never take the shot, then you'll never score. You'll never find out if you actually were to do it. The number one thing is regret in life. The number one thing on your deathbed is regret. Everybody knows that. So why would you not take the shot now and see if you can score? Why not try that career you never thought you could do? Why not build that relationship that you didn't think was possible? Whatever it is, a career, a friendship, you want to move somewhere, whatever it is that you want to do that you think won't work out when you were a kid, imagine anything was possible. but now for some reason it's not possible. What's the worst thing that could happen? Maybe it is bad, or maybe you're just thinking it to be bad. And maybe, most likely, it's not as bad as you think it is, and you're selling yourself short. That sounds like why I love having this podcast, because all of those things are so true within my life and in the lives of many other people I've talked to. And now it's time for a recap. When we were kids, anything was possible. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I was growing up, but I sure did think that quite literally anything was possible. Do not create limitations in your life. Live with the anything is possible mentality. Even though there are certain limitations in a sense, not everybody can do everything, that's for sure. We all are different and we should embrace our uniqueness. However, don't let anything stop you from trying what you want to do, including yourself. All right, my friends, thank you so much for listening. Remember, you can find me on Instagram at Kristof Lewis, and you can rate 5 stars. Share it with a friend. I would really appreciate that. And head over to the website, and you can learn a little bit more about me or on Instagram. But thank you for listening. Please don't only listen, apply. You can listen to all the best advice, the best podcast, read all these great books that we talk about. But if you don't apply it, it doesn't mean anything. So my challenge to you is today, after this podcast, think about that childhood mentality that you had. Think about how you're limiting yourself right now, or maybe you're listening to other people that are limiting you through their own limitations. Do not subscribe to that. Subscribe to the mindset that anything is possible, and you will find that maybe some things are not possible, but you will find, I guarantee you, that many things are indeed possible that you never thought were. So have the best day ever.